Hi guys, it's me the Big B, and today I thought I'd do a little bit more in-depth tutorial and demo of GeminusBox Mark II and show you guys exactly where we're at the moment. Now I did do a live stream and a lot of you guys saw that, but it's hard to kind of explain in detail when you're trying to do a live stream and you've got people talking at you and sending you messages and things, and you kind of miss things and try to rush through things. So this is what this video is about. Now I'm sorry I'm sitting in kind of the darkness, but I want you to be able to see the screen. And if I have it too bright, the camera just craps out and you can't see anything. I'm going to do this as one continuous shot because we're going to do a session as well. We're going to do a live session like I did on the live stream, and I will go back to that audio on here and annotate it and things like that. But I'm not going to cut away from this shot. It's going to be one continuous shot, guys. So that's why I'm sort of like trying to just show this at the camera and things like that. Now, anyone who has used the original GeminusBox, you guys have been getting some amazing evidence with this thing. It's blown our minds every day. You guys sending stuff in and sending us bits of video clips, absolutely mind blown. As real-time communication is what we can get, and sentences and just the information coming out is crazy. But with GeminusBox Mark II, it isn't just a small upgrade to GeminusBox. It is a complete reimagining of GeminusBox. It's completely been written. Nothing's just been slightly tweaked. The code, everything's been rewritten, and I'm going to explain about what we've sort of done and how we've done it. Now, for anyone on the live stream, you'll see what I was talking about. In GeminusBox, you had, I think it was five or so audio banks, and it's swept between them. You pick your sweep rate between, on GeminusBox Mark II, it's between 25 milliseconds to 1,000 milliseconds. Everyone's got their own favourite speed. I like around about 250, something like that. And basically, it would sweep between the banks to whatever sweep rate you set. Now, what we've done in Mark II, obviously, we've got the original sweep rate, and those are your little buttons there. Sorry for the glare on the screen. Your little plus and minus buttons and your on button, and your sweep rates at the top in red. You select your sweep rate like you did before, but now, instead of just having one set of banks, you've got banks A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to call them. If I can try and get this focused in a bit better for you guys. And as you can see, there's a row of lights next to each switch. And what you've got is in each individual bank, bank A, there are 5 sub-banks of audio, giving you a total of 20 banks. So there's 20 banks of audio in this thing, which took some doing, believe me. Normally when you get to about 8 banks, the engine starts slowing down. The engine that drives all this thing starts to slow down. That's why some of the app writers don't go above that. But this thing, like I say, has been written from the ground up. It's been optimized. It has several engines running the audio under this thing and running these banks to try and get it to be able to sweep between all these banks. And that's what I said in the live stream. The better your device, the faster this will be. You can run it on slow devices, but if you're running an older slow device, you've got to remember the more banks you start switching on, you're going to get some slowdown. It's just the way it happens. Even with the code being optimized the way it is, you're still going to get some slowdown. So I would recommend a tablet like this, like a quad-core tablet with at least 1 gig, 2 gig of memory in it, and you should be good to go, and you should have no problems. But like I say, just be aware if you've got an older device, a slow device, you may not get the speed. It should still work, but the animations, you might get some choppiness as it's switching between banks and things like that. But again, we kind of went this way for a reason. We were going all out with this. So basically, again, if I can get this thing zoomed in without much glare on the screen, you've got your individual switches to turn the banks on. So if you turn, hang on, I must have had some banks switched on there. I'll just turn those off, guys, because I want to show you guys it actually switched when you switch it. Right, so all the individual banks are turned off. You turn on the on button, nothing happens because you've not selected a bank. Now there isn't just one set of banks that it's going to sweep between. You get to choose. So every one of those little switches, sorry, I'm working backwards here, is the individual bank. So I can now click bank A, Oops, I hit the slider, which I will explain about those in a minute. I'm working backwards. Right, there you go. You can see each individual bank firing. I'm just going to stop it for a second, guys. Now, you saw each individual bank starting to fire, and each one of those 5 sub-banks, it's not just the same audio repeated, it's all individual banks of separate audio, all designed and picked especially to sort of fit together, so not one bank is going to overpower the other one, they kind of blend together. And what you saw there with these sliders sliding up and down in the first Geminus box, every time you pick your sweep rate, and every time it starts sweeping between the banks, every time it hits a bank, it picks a random volume, again, to keep the sound as random as possible. So even though it's maybe hitting the same bank at the same point, it's a different volume, so it keeps everything random. But you were unable to see that. Now, you can actually see, as each individual one of these 5 banks fires, whether it's in that row, that row, that row, it'll show you at what volume that bank fired at, just to give you a visual idea of what's going on under the hood. So, like I did before, I've still got it switched on, but I turned that thing. I'm working backwards is a nightmare, guys. So I'll switch bank A on again. Sorry, I already had it switched on. You saw it was lit up. Actually, it was me. I'm working backwards, completely backwards. So there we go. Now, what I can do on the fly, hope you can still hear my voice, is say I can go and switch bank D on. And now it's mixing those 2 banks at the sweep rate I've picked, which is 300 milliseconds. That's basically its default. That's where I've left it. And now you can see it's firing those banks at random and bank D at random. And you can turn on. I've turned on bank B. I'll just turn it back off so I can talk, guys. So you can see you can turn each individual bank off. You might want all the banks on. You might prefer, like I prefer banks. To be honest, my favourites are A and D running together. Some people like C and D and C and A. So you can get the idea. We've also kept in the auto button before I get too much further. And what that does is if you don't want to pick a certain sweep rate, you press auto and it'll change the sweep rate at high speed and at random between the 25 milliseconds and 1000 milliseconds, which you can imagine gives a hell of a cacophony of sound, because it's sweeping. 1 second it could be at 900 milliseconds, then the next sweep it's at like 30, so it just sweeps all over. Again, keeps that randomness going that we like, guys. Now, what we also added, which wasn't in the original Geminus box because it couldn't have been, is these sliders. So let's just say you pick 250 milliseconds, which is my favorite sweep rate, and I've got all the banks firing, but I want to slow down bank A. But if I slow the sweep rate down, it affects all the banks. So what these sliders do, if you get all of them and slide them, you can see there it's turning red. The further to the right you slide it, the further more it turns red, the slower that bank will then go. But it only affects that one bank. It doesn't affect the overall sweep rate that you've picked. So bank A will slow down. It'll fire less frequently. And you can do that with every bank. So again, because the further you do it, you can set each bank at exactly what speed you want, independent of the sweep rate. So again, the amount of randomness that will generate, you couldn't even work it out mathematically. You just got, so you can have any combination of banks. You can have those banks that are firing, you can have faster or slower, independent of the actual global speed as well. So like I say, you can slow each individual bank down. We've also got at the side, as you can see there, it says EMF meter with a little green dot. That little green dot just shows you that it's on and it's working. Now, in some of the other apps we had, people had problems with the original Geminus box as well, that the K2 would trigger and just go off full, no matter what they did, as soon as they turned the device on. So what we've done now, even the EMF code has been completely rewritten. It auto-calibrates. So when you turn it on, it should auto-calibrate on your individual device, and it shouldn't then just trigger for no reason. We've tested it against other K2 meters on the playstore market, and as far as we're concerned, it's about as accurate as you can get to a real K2 meter that you could on a mobile device. It does work. Again, I've tested it out on my phone and things. You go up to near something that's pumping a lot of power out, like a plug socket. and the EMF meter does actually work. Again, it's not as accurate as a real K2, so don't think it is. It's just there to, you know, as another little feature that you can use if you sit and you see it start going up and you're sitting nowhere near anything that could be generating that much EMF. It would indicate there's maybe something there. We've also kept the record feature in this time. So basically, we always see a record on a separate digital device. Don't rely on the speakers of your tablet or your phone, because they're not fantastic. You cannot beat a proper digital recorder. So always record your audio separate. But if you get caught short, you can press that record button. It will activate your device's camera, video camera if you have one, and then you can actually record the location, what you're looking at. You can use it as a camera, and it's obviously recording. GeminusBox is still running in the background, so you can record your audio. It's basically a latch thing. If you haven't got a digital recorder with your, you want to do it quick, you haven't got time to get the recorder out, if you're not recording at the time, things like that. It's not to be relied on as a permanent recording thing. Now, someone did say in the live stream, why don't you just have a button to record audio direct to the device like we have in other apps? But the problem with that is, again, the audio quality is not fantastic when you're doing that. And two, when you record the audio, it'll save it into the device. And a lot of people had trouble going then retrieving it. You have to plug it into your computer or use a file manager to get it out. With the record like this, recording it as video, it just goes into your camera roll where all your other videos would be. So you know exactly where to find it, and it's easily accessible. And the audio is still there. So you can pull it out, you can pull the audio off the video and analyze it there, or just analyze it like I do sometimes straight off the video. Just makes it quick and easy and convenient. But like I said, don't use it. Don't guarantee on it. Always use a separate recording device, but it's just there in case of emergencies, in case you need to. So that's basically it, guys. Each one of those banks, like I said, each individual, say a bank here, it's got 5 sub banks. They are all different audio in each bank. And bank A, B, C, and D are also have their own theme, which I'll let you listen to now. They all have their own individual sounds, and all sound very, very different, guys. So I'll just turn them all off so they don't all explode onto us. So we're going to do bank 1 first. See, it has a very unique sound. Bank B. See, it sounds totally different. Bank B theme is completely different. I'll just go. I know this is going to be long, but some people's favourite bank is the child type of sounds that I always like to use, because we do get some weird stuff through these banks. So you can see that has a unique sound, and bank D again has its own unique sound. So what you can do, you can use each individual bank as almost like a separate app. Each individual bank A, is capable of getting just as good evidence as the original GeminusBox did on its own, and the same with bank B, bank D, and bank E, or A, B, C, and D. Where the hell did I get E from? What the hell am I thinking of there? God only knows. But you know what I mean. Each one of those banks is almost like an app on its own, but now you can mix them up as well. It's nuts. While we've been testing this thing, it's been creeping the hell us out. Some of the stuff we've been getting using this, which is what I'm going to do now, because we've hit the 13-minute mark. I don't want to make this too long, and I hope I've kind of explained a little bit how it works and how those banks kind of work. Now, we've spent a lot of time with the audio as well. We've gone through, we always use reversed audio. It's very important. We never use audio that's forward. Some other apps do the thing, and they still work, don't get me wrong. Ones that sweep through radio banks and things like that, and other apps that use forwards thing, they do work, and they chop the audio up and things, but there's still words in there that are forwards, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to know whether that was just randomly coming out of the app, because there are words in there, or whether it was picked. It makes it just a bit more difficult. Using reverse audio, there's no chance of any words coming out. And we've done even more with the audio this time, because even reversed audio, you may sometimes get an anomaly where when it's switching through banks, a couple of sounds hit each other that make it sound like something else, you know what I mean? And we've gone through the audio meticulously to make sure there aren't even any flukes that even sound like any words. So we can guarantee there are no words that are going to come out this thing. Everything is completely reversed, and nothing in there sounds like anything. We've gone to great pains and great lengths to make sure of this. So again, any words you get cannot be in there. A simple hello, goodbye, your name, anything, it's not in there. And we've been turning this thing on, and within seconds we've had our names said. We're getting replies coming through, and that's the whole point of the Geminus project. Why me and Javier started the Geminus project and went down this route, to get us close to real-time communication. EVPs are fantastic. You'll do an EVP burst, you're getting a voice out of thin air, but there's always that time delay. You ask a question, you get a reply, you listen to it back. By the time you listen to it back and you get everything, then you want to reply again. We wanted to try and make things so you can basically have a conversation. So it's basically a two-way conversation, which is what's been happening with GeminusBox while you guys have been using it. And hopefully with this now, it's even quicker. Like I said, we've turned this thing on, and within seconds it's away. And we're having some crazy conversations. We've had some crazy voices. We've had German, French, Dutch, English, of all different dialects out of this thing already while testing. So without further ado, that's all I'm going to say about it. It is coming very soon, guys. We're nearly there. This is what this video is for. It's just, again, a little bit more in depth in what the app is and how it works and how well it works. We'll do a session, but it's coming very soon. A lot of you guys are asking. It's got to be coming soon. Trust me, it's coming very, very soon. Just bear with us just a tiny bit longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my favorite sweep rate, which is 250 milliseconds. My two favorite banks at the minute. We'll not do my favorite bank. We'll do one of my favorite banks, and one of your guys' favorite banks seems to be Bank C, the more childlike things. And we're just literally going to go for a session. I'm going to hold this up so we can definitely pick it up on here. I'm not going to alter anything else. I'm not going to alter the speeds. I'm just going to leave it 250 milliseconds, and I'm going to hit go. Hello. I heard something there. I'll go back through this audio, guys. Hello. Is there anyone that can hear my voice? Are there any spirits that can hear my voice? Would you like to talk? You're more than welcome to come forward and talk to me today. Can you say hello? Just let me know you're here and you can hear me. Some weird sounds. Do you have anything you would like to say today? I heard a name there. Did I hear someone say a name? Sounds like it said a lady. Do you know my name? Do you know me? Please, something there. Come on, who's here with me? It does sound creepy with that bank. I'm going to do, it's a bit of that bank, I'm just going to change it up. Bank here, bank D. This is my favourite combination. Just show you guys you can change on the fly as well. You just switch them on and off as you want. Hello? Can you hear me? Is anyone that would like to speak? We've only got a couple of moments. Thing is, I can hear voices in there, guys, and that's why you've got to record and go back to your audio, because you don't know what you're missing. There's so much. Can you tell me your name? That sounds like they're spirits. How many spirits are with me? How many spirits can hear my voice? Could have sworn I just heard 11. Someone just say 11. I'm hearing a few numbers getting chucked out at us now. When we use these devices, these apps, does it attract spirits? Is it easy for you to communicate through these devices? You tend to forget to ask questions, guys, because you can hear what you sounds like words coming forwards that you know shouldn't be there, and you're kind of like intently listening. We're going to turn this off soon. I just heard it say that's enough. Do you want me to turn this off now? Something about off, turn off, I think. I'm going to turn it off now, so if anyone is getting a message through, thank you. And I'm going to say goodbye. Right, guys. Gonna knock it off now. Again, like I said, I can hear stuff in real time, but the golden rule is when we turn these devices on, sometimes we get communication, sometimes we don't. Now, a lot of skeptics say it's just pareidolia, your ears are hearing what you want to hear. But sometimes we can turn these devices on and get nothing. I mean, we can sit and just listen to that random noise for half an hour and get absolutely nothing. We did that when we went, took my team and Paula and Dave, we went to Vane Tempest in Durham. And we turned these things on and we got next to nothing. It's not a guaranteed thing. There has to be a spirit around you. There has to be spirit that want to communicate. Doesn't matter how many of these fantastic devices you have and how many pieces of tech you've got. If they don't want to communicate, they won't communicate. So don't think you're going to turn these devices on and bang, you're going to get instant communication. You can if they want to talk to you. Like I say, we've turned this on. Javier's turned this on when we first got it to a point where we could actually run the thing. And he was sending me a message. He was absolutely mind blown. He said, like, it's talking to me in Spanish, clear Spanish. And if you nip to his wall, he's got that video up there. This thing has spoken to me, given us names and just information that is just out of this world. Paula, who's been testing it for us, she's had some amazing stuff come through this thing. And again, she can turn it on one day and get literally nothing. She can turn it on another day and it's just talking away non-stop because there's something that wants to communicate. That's the trick, guys. So there it is. It's due out very soon. Going to go back through this audio now, see what we've got, but it should be ready for you guys very, very, very soon. So just stay tuned, keep an eye on our walls, and we will let you know as soon as it's available, as soon as it hits the Play Store. And again, based on what you guys have been getting with Geminus Mark I, we can't wait for you guys to get this thing in your hands and see what you do with it, because we still cannot believe, not even from Geminus, from the original Verbus box, some of the original Ghost boxes, it's been amazing what's been coming through. So hopefully we have achieved our goal here. We've took things to the next level, we took things to the next stage, but only time will tell. During our testing, I would definitely say we have. But until you guys get this in your hands, till you guys can take this out on location with you, to take it to some of these haunted places you do and get the information you get, but we're very excited to wait for that to happen. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you very soon.